Welcome to the Genesis of the Doctor podcast, where we're taking a journey into the time and space of the history of Doctor Who. I'm Tris.
And I'm Joy.
And for today's episode, we're watching the first and second serials of Season 10, with The Three Doctors and Carnival of Monsters. So we've done it, Joy. We've made it to the first anniversary special.
Yep. Well, technically, apparently,
We've made it.
It aired like 11 months before the anniversary, but it's for season 10.
Well, close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. We made it to the first proper multi-Doctor story.
Yeah.
And this was a really interesting story. I understand they had, like, limitations. Like, I understand William Hartnell could only do so much because of his health.
Yeah.
I understand that that led to complications with how they could handle doing all of this. But I actually think they did a pretty good job despite that.
Yeah. I feel like the interactions between the doctors I enjoyed. I feel like the rest of the story was kind of just very basic, though, personally.
Yeah. The highlight really was the doctors.
Yeah.
But I also actually want to draw special attention to the Brigadier and Sergeant Benton.
Yeah.
Because they actually got to go in the TARDIS for the first time. They traveled in the TARDIS for the first time. And their overall, like, presence, they really felt like companions here, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool.
I loved how different their reactions to the TARDIS was as well, where
Yeah.
Benton kind of just takes it in stride a lot easier than the Brigadier does.
The Brigadier's like, is this what you've been using unit funds for?
Yeah.
It's quite funny. But honestly, like, it was great getting them in there. And it was, when you kind of look back at it, it's rather shocking that they hadn't even stepped in it before until now.
Yeah. I just love, like, the dynamic that Unit has, though, where Benton, like, understands science the best, even though he's, like, not really a great soldier. And then Yates is there to be the good soldier. And then the Brigadier is just completely useless with anything vaguely scientific. Even at the beginning of
it's pretty fun.
At the beginning of this story, when Dr. Tyler hands him the reading, he's like, no, give those to the doctor. I have no idea what you're looking at.
Yeah, that one was really funny. He is no, that you don't show me those readings. That's not gonna get anywhere. But I think the effects in this story were also really good. Like, the reasons why they go in the TARDIS, the funny, weird, green-screened antimatter creature.
Yeah.
As, like, silly as it was, I think for the time was pretty good.
Yeah. At the time, people would probably be like, whoa, it's really cool that they managed to make something that weird looking. And then nowadays, it looks like more like a glitch than anything.
It does, but that kind of works in the context as well, too.
Yeah. Omega was, like, a very basic character, though. He just kind of yells a lot, and he doesn't really do much.
Yeah. And that's the defining trait the second Doctor even points out. Like, he yells a lot, and he's got a short temper. That's it.
Like,
so, dare I say, as controversial as this may be, Omega might actually be more interesting in the modern era in terms of how they set him up compared to how he is here.
Yeah. I think he has a really compelling backstory in this story, but then, like, what he's actually doing in the story itself is very basic.
Yeah. The backstory is really compelling, and the idea of what he can do is really cool, but in terms of how they presented it, he really is just standing there yelling.
Yeah. I know he does...
Which I guess makes him a great enemy for the Brigadier, but maybe not necessarily for the Doctor.
Yeah. I know he does come back, I think, in a fifth Doctor story, so we will see him one more time.
Okay.
maybe he's
maybe
better
that'll
there.
be... Yeah, maybe that'll be the one where we get more out of him.
Although I know that... I definitely heard people saying, like, why do people want Omega back? He's, like, this really bad character. So, maybe he's not that great.
Just because he's part of Time Lord lore, I think is the main reason. Because, like, this whole backstory behind him and how he ended up there was really cool. And seeing how he's come to resent the Time Lords because he sees them as, you know, they trapped him there. They went on to become what they were because of what he did, but he sees it as like the sacrifice he didn't want to do. Like that's
Yeah.
actually really cool, to be honest. Like you understand why he hates them so much. What kind of bothers me though is the threats that he presented, like the stuff that he didn't really feel more threatening than anything else they've dealt with on Earth already, other than
Yeah.
it transported them this time. So they set up all these alerts and they made it like a really big deal that there was this attack happening and nothing seemed to be working. But I kind of feel like we've already had that a few times, or we've even had Daleks already on Earth that unit has had to deal with. So having this, I guess the specific threat on Earth that was presented felt very, I want to say, low stakes compared to what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. It's a little weird that he sends an SOS to the Time Lords for this, but hasn't before. Like,
Yeah.
I do think the one thing that I'm sad about, though, is that Omega has like a really compelling backstory in this, and then in Modern Who, when he comes back, it's just like, oh, he's the most evil Time Lord, so we banished him away. He just has a totally different backstory now.
Yeah,
and then
it is a pretty different backstory, which is quite strange.
RTD said that in an interview that it was like the Time War changed his backstory. Just like, okay, we just didn't establish that, I guess.
But why?
I don't know.
Like, that's not necessary. Are they gonna lock the Master away next? Like,
Yeah.
Because I don't think Omega tops the Master in terms of evil Time Lords in that case.
Yeah.
In terms of modern era and modern atrocities.
Yeah, I definitely loved all the interactions that the Doctor has with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was funny.
Having Patrick Troughton back was great.
Yeah. I love the little exchange where like they're trying to explain it to Jo, and she thinks they're talking about a Beatles reference. I am he, and he is me. We are all together, Goo Goo Goo. And
yeah,
then the second Doctor,
and they were just like, what?
The second Doctor doesn't even know that song.
And then he goes, oh, how does it go? I'll try to play it. Like,
Yeah.
he immediately is like, ooh, okay, it's a song. Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. That was his character for the entire story. He just wanted to find his recorder.
Yeah.
He wants to help, but he really needs to find it.
Yep. And then I liked when the Brigadier is like, we should be thankful for the small mercies of you don't have your recorder.
The small mercies.
And he was so shocked when he saw the second Doctor. I love that part too.
But he just refused to believe it was another Doctor. He's like, oh, you want to change your appearance again? All right, well, here we go. Yeah. And then poor Patrick Troughton's Doctor's just like, I don't understand what I'm doing with you currently, but sure.
Yeah.
Why me? Why do I have to explain it to them? That's strange for me. It's like, no, that's what you normally do. It's like, it is?
Yeah. I also liked how Benton calls the second Doctor the first one. Because they don't know he's the second.
For them it is. But, I mean, technically, they all got to see William Hartnell's Doctor as well. They just, didn't get to really interact with him.
Yeah. Oh, and there was... the second Doctor says he has to, like... For the bridge, he has to feed it useless information, so he wonders if there's a television set nearby. And that's great, too. There's a lot of great lines here.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great lines and a lot of good performances, I think. Because the thing that really stands out to me, like, from this entire story, I loved the ending sequence when everyone was saying goodbye, because it was implied, or near end, they implied that the Doctors were going to stay behind, so they let everybody else go back, and they all had, like, kind of like their own little heartfelt, like, farewells to the Doctor.
Yeah.
That if they actually had that be the last time the Doctor saw, like, Jo and stuff, that would have been a fitting end. Because that was, like, better than some farewells other companions actually had.
Yeah. I like how the Brigadier has to keep everybody in line when that's happening.
Yep.
No, and then Brigadier also was like, oh, there's 3 Doctors? I hate that. He's the exact opposite of Captain Jack.
It's true. One is more than enough.
Yeah. and then the second Doctor has to sacrifice his recorder. He has to lose his greatest friend.
The question is when he'll get another one.
Yeah.
Will it just be returns to him in his time?
Well, I guess that's why
He won't remember any of it, but
like the one he loses here is the one that's a fancy design, and I guess that's why like when it comes back in future incarnations and stuff, it's always just a white recorder. It's because he bought a replacement.
yeah, I guess so.
Like
That's true.
in Power of the Doctor, they bring it back and it's just a plain white one. I think like the fifth
True.
Doctor sees it once and it's a plain white one there too. So it explains why it changes.
I think so, yeah. That is true, and that is quite funny. How did we feel about the other Time Lords? And all the scenes that were going on with them when they were, kind of giving an update on the whole situation and how the black hole was affecting things and how they needed to send the right energy to help out the Doctor or, make the Doctors appear properly and breaking the first law of time and all this kind of nonsense.
I found them a bit weird just because it's like we're supposed to believe that the planet is having this major crisis, and it's just like we only know that because people are talking about it, and like we don't see anything going on there.
Yeah, that was my problem with it. Is that I think when they're in the black hole dealing with Omega's threat and the idea that the universe will end up getting destroyed, that they explain that in a way when they're at the source dealing with it, like the Doctors and all that one makes sense. But on the outside, dealing with it from the Time Lords' perspectives, it I don't think they really sold that idea very well.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just had, like, Omega's, like, blob things show up on Gallifrey as well, and then they're having to fight them.
Yeah.
And we can just see that.
Yeah.
Don't need new costumes or anything.
It would have helped explain it a little bit better as to the urgency of the situation, because otherwise, it really does just feel like they foresaw an incoming threat and decided to send the Doctor once again. Just like we've already been getting throughout the Third Doctor era.
Yeah.
Except this time we get their perspective on it. Like, that's kind of all it felt like. It did not feel as dangerous and pressing as they tried to tell us it was, because all they did was tell us.
Yeah. I guess they at least established the first law of time. we had a little bit established there. Then they establish it by breaking it.
They establish it by breaking it, but they also make it seem like it's going to be like a big deal that they are breaking it, and that someone's going to pay, and they never really come back to that. Yeah. You just have, like, I don't know if it's, I think it's a president. Yeah, I think it is a president who's, like, very unhappy with what's going on, very standoffish to the whole idea, very much like a spoil sport about the whole thing, and then despite the resolution in the end, they never come back to that. So what was the point in his aversion to it?
Yeah.
But there was no consequence to the first law of time actually being broken.
Yeah, they definitely didn't really want to do too much with the Time Lords, I guess. They just needed, like, an explanation as to how the Doctors got together, I suppose. And
you could have just said the TARDISes crashed together, like, if you wanted to. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that Omega was specifically targeting the Doctor, and that meant grabbing him from across time, kind of thing.
Yeah. There is originally this story was going to be called Death World, and it would have been they're facing like the personification of death, which was later adapted into a Big Finish Lost Stories, and I listened to that as well, and that did do some of what you're talking about, where like Death was going after all the Doctors that he could and just stole them away. It's more or less the exact same story, because it's like it's very much an early draft of this story.
Right.
But yeah, it is like the second Doctor just kind of lands his TARDIS at the same spot where the third Doctor was, and then Death just steals them all away.
Grabs them both. Oh yeah, because in that case, that one would have his companions, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that one had Jamie in it, and then the first Doctor's also there a lot more. Okay. And it's funny because they pair up the first Doctor with the Brigadier. So that's his companion for the story, is the Brigadier. Because he shows up after the...
When would that have been for him? When would that have been for him if he didn't have any companions?
they do a weird thing. They kind of act like they're able to control the TARDIS because he says like he's with Steven and he needs to get back to Steven. But like I don't know how he would do that.
Yeah, that's a
He does
little
mention
weird.
he wants to use the fast return switch to get back. So I guess you just say that he did that after.
Okay.
And then the Doctor and Jamie say they have to get back to Victoria in that as well. And like I don't know how they plan on doing that.
Yeah, definitely a little strange in that case. That implies they left her behind and flew the TARDIS away without her.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah. Very strange, but not
yeah.
bad.
For this story, there is expanded universe stuff that establishes that the first Doctor is from right after the Time Meddler, and then the second Doctor is right after the Mind Robber. Is their perspectives?
Oh, okay. Okay, I was curious about that.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a story where like the Doctor went back into the land of fiction right after they left because he realized he left his recorder there, and then he ends up meeting up with the Time Lord in there, and then they send him off to this story.
Okay.
So he doesn't get
That's pretty funny.
He doesn't get his recorder back.
The things he'll do for that recorder.
Yeah. Well, I will say I also liked the effect of like Omega not having a body. Like they actually did that well.
That was cool. Yeah, that was well done. I really and I liked that twist a lot too because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
The fact that he was only surviving because he willed it to be. Like he was just this force now. Kind of lines up really well with the ideas that we know of Omega nowadays too.
Yeah.
Where, like he's not what he once was. He could never leave.
I think
that was a good twist.
Modern Omega makes more sense, I feel, if you say that like the toy maker decided to go through the Doctor's timeline and turn things into gods. I think that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Than the explanation we're given.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I could see them taking the jump from where he is here in the Three Doctors to becoming a god.
Yeah.
Because his whole thing was, he wanted to be a god and he should be revered like a god. Well, theoretically, he could will it so that he because the way his domain was, he theoretically could will it that he could escape as a god in that world. Maybe not having a corporeal form, but like he is known, is revered as a god. That theoretically could have gotten out. So
yeah, and I know there are a lot of Big Finish stories with Omega, so
oh, okay.
There's a bunch out there. Because in the first of the two-parters in last season, they had his voice clip was from a Big Finish story. So
right, okay, yeah.
Oh, and apparently in this story, when Jamie was supposed to be here, he was supposed to have a romance with Joe, which I feel would have been weird. Like they wouldn't have.
That's kind of funny.
I guess it does kind of line up though that he just kind of falls in love easily sometimes.
Yeah,
so I guess it kind of makes sense.
That was very much something Jamie did. It's just a question of how that would work for Joe.
Yeah. And Omega was originally going to be called Ohm, which is OHM, because it was Who upside down. Which would have been funny.
Honestly, that's pretty funny.
Would have been a good joke. Apparently there is like a Gallifreyan god named Ohm, though, so they do reuse it somewhere. Although I'm not sure if it's in the show itself.
Maybe we'll find out one day.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed mostly just the dynamic between the characters in the story, but I think the plot itself was definitely just like a vehicle just to bring them together, and they didn't really worry too much about it.
The highlight was very much the character performances and their interactions, not the story itself. And I think that's okay for the first of its kind like this.
And this
makes me hope future ones are better, though.
Yeah. This is unfortunately the last time we will see Willie Martnell, because he passes away 2 years later.
Yeah.
Very close to the end here. But we will see the second Doctor in 2 more multi-Doctor stories.
Yeah, he's around a bit. That's good.
Yeah, I think that's basically all I had about. Oh, I did find it funny how they fit in a third Doctor fight scene in this.
Oh god, yeah, the fight
The dream
scene.
sequence. He had to get his fight scene in there.
He has to fight somebody all the time for
Yeah.
some reason. And I'm going to use that to transition us to the next story because the first thing I want to mention is the fight scene in that one, and that's Carnival of Monsters.
Yeah. That was very
This was
funny.
a really interesting story, but I love the cut in one of the episodes to the Doctor and was it the Admiral or no, not the Admiral.
John is his name. I don't remember what his rank is.
John Andrews, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember his ranking, but if the two of them are just suddenly gonna start boxing.
Yeah.
Like, so funny, so out of nowhere.
I love how it's just like, oh, we can just like turn this dial and then they'll get angry at each other. And then they decide to have a boxing fight. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do this by the rules. We're not just going to actually fight. We're going to specifically box with all the rules correct.
Like, what are you gonna get out of that?
Yeah.
It's very silly. It was very silly. That fight aside, this whole story was actually very fascinating. Carnival of Monsters.
Yeah.
The entire like perspective of the storytelling for it too, where like on one hand you have like the Doctor's experiences, and then on the other hand you have everything happening outside the machine. Actually, really cool.
Yeah, I loved this story. I think it might just be one of my favorites that we've seen so far, because it's such a fascinating concept, and it also like it blends like a really good comedy in with just like good storytelling. And I feel like normally you kind of get one or the other, where it's just you either have good jokes or you have a good story, because they haven't really done.
Yeah, it is not often you get both.
Like the more comedic stories are just kind of just pure comedies normally, whereas this is a bit of both.
Pretty much. Yeah, there was definitely like a lot of good moments in this.
Yeah.
I also want to draw attention to how good the costuming was in the monster puppets.
Yeah, those were great.
Like the Drashigs, those looked really good. Even though like to get them the same size as everyone else, those were green screened. To have them destroy things was kind of green screen. They clearly had fun with those, and I think they were designed really well.
Yeah. Apparently they're called.
Despite what I said about the costumes, I'm not sure how I feel about the silver people, but continue.
They called the Drashigs that because it's an anagram of dish rag, because they were using a dish rag when they were filming. It was a dish rag on a stick that they were looking at, and then they added it in post.
That's really funny.
And there is actually like multiple actors in this that are noteworthy, because John Andrews is played by Ian Marter, who will be Harry Sullivan in a couple years.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, I don't think this is when they meet Harry. That was kind of interesting.
And then both of the women in the story, Cheryl Hall, who played Sherna, and Jenny McCracken, who played Claire, were both actresses that were on the shortlist for Joe Grant. And they were told, like,
really?
We'll find a place for you later. Don't worry about it. Like, you were really good, so we'll fit you in here somewhere.
That's fascinating, actually.
Yeah, and then
and they ended up being the same story.
Yeah, and also Major Daly, who is like the father of Claire, is played by Tenniel Evans, who is a personal friend of John Pertwee's, who had encouraged him to play the Doctor, and John Pertwee said, "I'll get you a job in there."
Oh wow,
that's nice. So like, there's like 4 people who there's a behind the scenes story about them, which is great.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I love the story where it's at first you don't know what's going on, because like we saw like the aliens, and then now we're on a ship for some reason, and then you start to realize, oh, they're like inside the machine. And I think it's
the way it came together with that is really cool.
Yeah, it feels like a modern Who story in some ways, because like classic Who stories haven't really blended together, like going to the past with also being on an alien planet like this.
Yep. Or funny sci-fi things of, shrinking.
Yeah.
Like, and then like also the set design of like the inside of the machine was also like really good.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was really cool seeing all that come together. I will say the dinosaur never coming back was very strange to me.
Yeah.
The dinosaur, like I thought we were when we saw the idea of breaking containment, I thought, oh, maybe the dinosaur just also broke containment and it's a flaw in the machine. No, I guess the dinosaur is just always there
Yeah.
for some reason.
Because I guess it's like each spot is just like anything from Earth is just all in this one place.
Yeah, so like, yeah, like all the different sections are it's like by planet basically.
Yeah.
Which is very silly. Kind of a problem, but
Yeah.
That's okay. I liked learning that the Doctor was responsible for getting these things outlawed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought the time was uninterfere. Yeah, well, I made a good case, kind of thing.
Yeah, I just kept bugging them until they agreed. And then he's very angry when he eventually gets out of there and has to figure it out. I found it so funny when like Tiny Doctor just walks out of the machine and that's our cliffhanger.
That was actually really great. That was really great. They made a lot of really good use of green screen in this story.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite jokes was the Eternity Perpetual Company created generators that last forever, so the company went bankrupt.
Yeah, so the company went bankrupt. Vorg was genuinely very funny.
Yeah. And then
not necessarily the best person, but very funny.
There was also the lateral thinking thing where the Doctor tries to explain what lateral thinking is to Joe, and then Joe figures out a plan and is like, "Oh, Doctor, you're so brilliant." And Doctor's like, "Wait, what? What did I do?" that was great too.
Normally, it's like really the other way around. So it's really moments like that. And honestly, throughout this whole story, Joe really shines throughout this story. Yeah. Even though she's not the one to like break out and she still needs to be saved by the Doctor, she still does a lot that really like gives her some great defining moments. The way she tries to help people, the way she figures that out from the Doctor, where it was not what he meant, but the way she interpreted it was correct and arguably better than what the Doctor was trying to do. Yeah. So their dynamic together has definitely strengthened that. Like all the problems I think we had with their dynamic early on are gone. Yeah. And it's really good now because it definitely feels like they're in their prime together now as well.
And I loved the scene where like they're hiding behind the boxes and Joe gets spotted, so she tells the Doctor to stay and she'll just go.
You stay here. Yeah. Because normally it is very much the other way around. The Doctor gets caught and the Doctor relies on the companion to be the one to continue sneaking around.
Yeah. And then she just kind of waits until they reset and then she tries to run off.
That was really interesting, actually, seeing that she was literally in the room with them when they reset and she was just like, hold on, what just happened? Yeah. Like, that was actually kind of cool. Like, her being there in the moment it happened and it being such a nonchalant thing. Like, it's not like they were in the middle of a sentence when it happened. But it's like they left, they walked back in immediately. It was like, wait, what? Like, that was actually really cool.
I loved seeing her get to figure out the whole time loop and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was the very random thing where she just keeps skeleton keys in her pocket for some reason.
I kind of love that about her, but I don't see how that would work.
Yeah, especially because like it was a big key ring. I don't know how well that would fit in your pocket.
Maybe the Doctor gave her the pockets. They're bigger on the inside.
Yep. I guess maybe when the Doctor said like, "Hey, do you want to go travel on the TARDIS?" She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna bring some stuff with us just in case." So she brought all these keys with her.
It's so funny how that works, though.
Yeah. And then there is a note that the Doctor mentions Metabilis 3 is where he wanted to go to. That is a place that will come back a bit later. It's the beginning of a story that they're starting to build up.
Interesting. All right. See how that one goes then, as he attempts to get there, but will he ever?
Because he still can't pilot the TARDIS. Maybe he's a little better, but not great.
How did we feel about the whole political plot that was going on from the natives of this planet, and how they wanted to take advantage of the situation?
It felt a little basic, but I think it kind of worked. Just being a bit basic, of just like, well, we're all xenophobic, so we want to overthrow the person that's saying we're going to open our planet up to aliens. Like they were
Yeah,
basic, but
that's
then they got their
that's very
comeuppance
much
in
like
the
Curse
end,
of Peladon.
so it's okay.
Yeah,
They got
that
eaten.
element of it reminded me of Curse of Peladon. It was kind of similar in that
Yeah,
fear of opening things up. But I actually really liked how it was handled here because while it was like a main thing happening, it was still a side plot, but it was a side plot that helped advance the main plot as well. Like
yeah,
their interference is kind of why things got to happen the way they did. So I think that was honestly pretty cool.
yeah. If they hadn't interfered, then the doctor would have gotten a shot as soon as he stepped outside. So
Yep.
had to happen. And then they're like, well, we're just going to release the Drashigs, and then they get eaten by the Drashigs, and nobody else does. And it works out.
And it's just like, yeah, it's just like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah. It's funny how they're
Like, if you were the one actively working on freeing them right there, what do you what did you think was gonna happen? How, like, you were sitting there trying to cause a disaster to happen. How did you think you were going to get away?
yeah. They had a whole exchange about, like, how are we going to get out of here? And just like, we are. And then they don't.
Okay, if you say so.
And luckily, Vorg is a veteran, so he knows how to use the weapon.
Which I find really funny because he made a whole deal about how, like, nothing can stop them, basically.
Yeah. I guess nothing other than, like, really, really heavy machinery. or weaponry.
I guess. Because they had mentioned, oh, like, you know, some other ships had landed on the planet, and like there was barely even anything left of that, despite them having like the full armaments.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised that despite that backstory, he was able to take them out pretty quickly and easily.
And even one of the ones died from on the ship when they threw TNT at it.
Yeah.
Maybe TNT mixed with how far it fell as well. But still.
Well, one thing I kind of appreciated with that is the fact that it kind of felt like what Vorg had as his knowledge wasn't, you know, necessarily accurate. So these things were a lot more fearsome in his stories than they actually were. Because he's an entertainer, but also, I mean, he inherited the machine, so probably a good amount of it is his interpretation of things rather than the reality. Because, I mean, he thought the Drashigs were more dangerous than the Daleks.
Yeah.
So.
Could have just been playing it up because, you know, you want to tell people, like, oh, these are this really terrible animals.
But that's what I mean. Is like even outside of the entertainment side, like he seemed to genuinely believe it when he was describing it, like for his own safety and all that. Which is why it definitely seemed like we can't take that at the face value of them being as bad and as dangerous as they are implied to be. They're definitely very scary, and they definitely caused problems when they broke out. But that doesn't mean they were the indestructible, terrifying thing that they were made out to be. Yeah. And I think that actually kind of worked only in this kind of story. Yeah. Because if it was anyone else, that inconsistency would be annoying. But because of the way it's presented here, that inconsistency actually kind of works, strangely enough.
Yeah, I would say so. It's also funny that he's like, oh, these are these really, really terrible creatures. And there is a Cyberman inside there as well. But don't worry about the Cyberman. That's it.
I didn't catch that there was a Cyberman. I don't know how I didn't catch that. I did catch the Ogron, but I did not catch the Cyberman.
Yeah, very briefly there was when he was showing. I think it was like when the display unit started going on the fritz. They showed a Cyberman on the screen briefly.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's a problem.
And that's the only time in the Third Doctor's era where you will see a Cyberman is for like 1 second. Although I think
very strange because this could have been a good like. It's kind of surprising they used this idea and then they didn't use this idea to have him encounter a bunch of like past creatures that he's familiar with.
Yeah,
because the premise would work well for that.
Yeah, I guess it's just a budget
Not a
thing.
bad thing. I'm just surprised.
Just a
That's true. It
budget
could have
thing where
just
you
been
can't do
budget.
that many sets or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think the Five Doctors is a Cyberman story or something, apparently, so the Third Doctor does run into Cybermen, but not in his era.
Okay. So eventually, an overdue interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I also just love the scene when they're running from the Drashigs and then Vork has to stick his hand in there to just shoo them off as they're running.
It's pretty funny.
And the Doctor can use his sonic screwdriver to cause explosions again. Just works that way, I guess.
I have a feeling this was also a case of it's like, well, they're inside a machine, so, he caused things in the machine to blow up.
Yeah. And another behind-the-scenes detail is that the chicken noises were provided by Katie Manning herself. She did the chicken noises.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Apparently, it's
that is hilarious.
It was like a talent she had from her childhood that she could do chicken noises very well.
Sure, I guess that's very silly.
And then there is
Why?
another funny story from behind the scenes is that they were filming this on a ship called the RFA Robert Dundas, which I guess was going to be like they were going to like tear it apart afterwards. So somebody decided to steal a compass off of the ship while they were doing it because they were like, oh, they're going to junk all of this, so they're going to junk all the things on there. But they were planning on auctioning it all off, and that somebody that stole it was John Pertwee.
Oh my god!
So he had assumed that they were going to scrap the compass, so he just took it, and then they had to pause filming because somebody stole something off of the ship, and he's like, here you go, you can have this back.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I quite like this story.
That's really funny. Yeah, no, this is a really good story. The strength of the character writing and performances was really good. I think the sets were great. This is honestly just an overall very fun story. It would be a story I would use to show someone the Third Doctor for the first time.
Yeah.
It's a good story to introduce who the Third Doctor and one of his most iconic companions are and what they're like together.
I also liked towards the end the Doctor is very angry at Vorg for calling the people in the scope livestock as well.
Yeah.
And then at the very end,
I appreciated that.
At the very end, he's tricking the local dude out of his money using seed under cup tricks.
Yeah, very funny. It's so silly how he gets around. It works. But I also like the fact that the Doctor decided not to follow through on punishments for all these people.
Yeah,
because one, I mean, two of them, were killed by their own hubris with the Drashigs. But then, Vorg and all, I mean, he won it, so he wasn't entirely sure how the machine works. He didn't know much about it. It's not like he smuggled it despite it being banned. I don't think he knew it was supposed to be banned.
Yeah.
So it actually seemed more like he won it because it was going to get banned or because it was banned. So he did not know the full context behind it. So it's I appreciated the Doctor decided to just leave him be, but I feel like you can tell there's a point where the Doctor's like, if I didn't need your help right now,
Yeah. I guess he just figured as long as he helps them get the people back to their own times, then
yeah,
that's all you can ask of the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I love where it's like, oh, well, now I'm out of money, and then he just tricks the dude out of all of his money using simple magic tricks. And then Doctor's like, oh, we'll just let that happen. We're just going to run off now.
I do love their tendency to run off, right at the end.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that's fun.
Keeping up with what they always used to do. Second Doctor always disappeared before everything finished, and Third Doctor's continuing it. I also liked how Vorg thought the Doctor was also a carny because of his clothes.
That was so funny, and the way he tested it, and the Doctor's just like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. And also, Joe says that 1926 is about 40 years ago, which is confusing because it's not the 60s. I don't know. Like, it would be about 50 years ago. 50 to 60 years ago. But
yeah,
timeline doesn't really add up there.
I guess that's just like a flub in that case, like an error. But I mean, because this was filmed in the 70s, wasn't it? So
Yeah, it was. This would have been like 73.
Yeah.
And then it's possibly set in the 70s or the 80s, depending on.
Right. Yes, that canon issue.
Yeah. But then this is saying it's 1966, and that's before any of them.
True.
I guess maybe she's just not good at math. She just didn't add it up correctly.
Maybe. I feel like it was like just a case of saying the wrong thing, meant to say 50 but said 40, or like the script had it wrong and they just kind of overlooked it.
Yeah. And this was Robert Holmes wrote this one, and he's like a guy that writes a lot of stories.
Mm-hmm.
He did the Autons already, and we'll do a bunch later. Yeah, I think that's about all I had on that story written down here.
Yeah, I think that's everything I had too. Honestly, it was a very good story, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was a great time.
I just found it so funny.
It's definitely up there.
When I was going to watch it on Tubi, and then Tubi TV's disclaimer was like, on the SS Bernice, the TARDIS is stolen by a giant hand and a dinosaur attacks. And I was like, what am I about to watch? And then it was very good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a very random synopsis you got there. Yeah, it was good. Very good.
It was good. All right. Well, I think then that will bring us to some news, because there actually has been a bit of news.
Yeah.
So I'll let you start running through these, Joy.
So this last week we had the Ninth Doctor and Rose Tyler Big Finish the first story of that released, and I highly recommend it. It's very good.
Ooh.
It's
excellent.
And they've said that basically their idea for this whole line is that it's going to be taking place right after Father's Day, because the idea is that after Father's Day, Rose wanted to go back and see her family, so they just kind of fit that in there. So it's going to all take place, or it's going to take place at the Powell estate in various points in time. Like the next one that they announced is going to take place like 20 years in the future. I think it's like maybe like the 2030s, I think, and it's still going to be at the Powell estate, but like Powell estate has been like a serial killer came by and killed everyone there, so it's like something weird is happening there.
Now it's a murder mystery.
Yeah, so they said that basically the idea for this run is that something is going on at the Powell estate. Like why does stuff keep happening there, and they're going to answer that question. So it's basically a season of television where the big mystery is something's going on at Rose's home.
Interesting. Okay.
A great idea.
I wonder how many times you can mess around with that. Yeah. Although it's kind of funny when you think about it further, because Jackie Tyler herself has been in so many Big Finish stories that those alone could also tie into that. Like, she's been part of so many things, or like Jack checking up on her, River checking up on her. Like, it's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
That she knows and meets so many people involved with the Doctor, gets involved in so many things, simply because she's just a beloved character.
Yeah. And then she was in this first one. She's also going to be in the next one, but I'm not sure how that works, because this is like 30 years later in the Powell estate, and I mean, she wouldn't be there anymore. Although I guess it depends like how that all works. Like, you know, the 10th Doctor stories haven't happened yet, so I guess maybe she could still be there.
Alternate futures, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, alternate futures. If something happened, they would have stayed, or something played out differently. Or she might go with them to the future in this case.
Yeah.
Maybe it's normal Jackie Tyler instead of Jackie Tyler 20 years older.
I just like how domestic the story is, too, though, because, like, the Ninth Doctor sticks around at home with Rose, and it's just like, Jackie talks about, like, making him waffles, and then the Doctor's like, oh, but there's a mystery. I have to go do that and not eat your waffles. And then she's upset. So there's, like, a whole domestic element to it. It's great.
That's fun, actually. That's fun.
And it is sort of a transgender story, but I won't say how. It's a bit complicated. it involves spoilers,
Okay.
but there's a
Still
transgender element
exciting.
to it.
Still exciting. I'll have to check it out at some point. It definitely sounds good. So.
Yeah, and the next one has Dan Starkey is going to be the villain in the story, and Dan Starkey is Strax, and also various other whatever species Strax is. I forget what the name is now. But yeah,
Suntarans.
yeah, Centaurans.
Yeah, he tends to play Suntarans, so I have to imagine there's going to be a Suntaran. Then,
It
yeah.
possibly could. The villain's name is Mr. Giggles, so I don't know if that would really be Suntaran coded though.
It's
no,
not
it's
a very Suntaran
Mr. Fingers,
name,
I think, is
no.
what it is. Or he's like the essentially a serial killer. Essentially, is what they're
Huh. Okay.
saying.
He's adding some variety to his portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, I know he does a lot of Big Finish stuff as well.
Yeah, he's done a lot more than just Suntarans, but
Yeah.
he's well known for the Suntarans.
It's like one of the previous Ninth Doctor stories had Vastra's actress was in it, but she wasn't playing Vastra. She was just playing a different character. Like they all just kind of do different characters in there.
Yeah, but I do need them back, though. I
Yeah.
do need them back as their characters. Like, shoot, he should have met up with them. Anyway, that's getting really far up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Good to hear that the start of this new Big Finish series is good, though. That is a great sign, I think.
And I just love listening to the interviews all the time because, like, Chris Voxon just like will never shut up about how much he enjoys the writing in Big Finish. Like he's always praising the writers.
That's great.
Always praising the writers in every interview. He always does, and it's great to hear. And then everybody was saying that like it, getting Billy Piper and Chris Voxon in the room together was just like it's immediately a family vibe, and it's just great. Great to be there.
That is great.
Especially since
that is great.
Jackie was also there.
I'm so happy. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm so happy they still love and enjoy doing this together. Like I think Christopher Eccleston has made it like very clear he loves Doctor Who. He does not like RTD. He does not like the production that he was working on.
Yeah.
The executives that he was working under. But that doesn't mean he hates Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a very clear, good sign of that.
And getting to work with Billy Piper again is something he's been wanting.
Yeah.
And I liked how they also said in the stories, or in the interviews, they were talking about how like Billy Piper always calls Camille, who is Jackie Tyler, mom behind the scenes.
Aw.
It's like
that's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. I'd say it very well captures like the idea of the Ninth Doctor story in that one. It's fits in very well with his other stories, I would say.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check those ones out soon.
Yeah. Then we also had an announcement. I guess this was a couple weeks ago they announced it, and I just somehow missed it. That the Future Doctor is getting a whole multimedia story next year, where the premise is UNIT has found stuff showing up in their Black Archive that are like important items from various incarnations of the Doctor, and for some reason they have the Fugitive Doctor's number, and they call her and ask her to help get them back to where they're supposed to be. And so part of the mystery is like why are they showing up, and why are they like the items are like corrupted or something, and then the other question is like how do they know the Fugitive Doctor?
Yeah, that is very strange.
But they do mention like in the synopsis like how does UNIT know the Fugitive Doctor? So like it is a question they're going to answer. Yeah, it's going to be like
fascinating. Okay,
it's going to be in Big Finish. It's going to be in I guess comics as well, multimedia. So I don't know like what form.
Multimedia stories are typically pretty cool. I think when
Yeah.
they get to really flesh them out like that, but it also makes it a little bit harder to keep up with the full story.
Yeah,
because it's not all in one medium.
I hope this
Time Lord Victorious is the last one that comes to mind. That was a multimedia story.
Yeah, and there was
I did not keep up with the full thing, but I heard it was a little messy, but still kind of good.
Yeah, I hope this one's going to be smaller than those other ones have been, because there was Time Lord Victorious, and there was like I think it's called Doomsday or something. There was another one, but it was like there's like 100 different things, and you have to spend hundreds of dollars if you want to keep up with all of it. So hopefully this one's going to be smaller. Because I don't want to have to pay that much.
Ideally not.
Yeah, like I want more Fugitive Doctors, so I'll have to check it out when it comes out.
Absolutely. It's great that they're actually doing more with her. I just hope they do more with her in the show itself.
Yeah.
They've not shied away from it, so let's get it. Give us a spinoff.
Yeah. She would have been a great spin-off to get. But they decided War Between Lands and Sea is more important, I guess.
And she and the Eighth Doctor both need spin-off series.
Yeah.
But that's my take.
Those are the only Doctors I want spin-offs of, though. I don't want
Yes.
other ones getting them. It's only the ones that haven't gotten a TV show that should get them.
Yes.
The rest can stay in Big Finish, and it's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And then the other news is that across the world, like all of the streaming services who had Modern Who from Series 1 to Series 13 lost their rights in the last week. Like HBO Max lost it. Up here in Canada, it was on Amazon Prime, and that also lost it. So they're allowing all these streaming deals to expire. I assume probably because they want it as leverage for whoever's going to fund the next era of the show to say, like, hey, you can have all this.
to have all of it, yeah. Yeah.
It would be nice.
That would be good.
It would be nice if Disney does it, because then you just have all of it in one place. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. That would be ideal. This makes me wonder if the classics might disappear from Tubi at all.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, for now, Modern Who only exists on BBC iPlayer, I believe.
Thankfully, I have checked. If you have purchased it on Amazon, you still have it. So
Yeah.
I own the entirety of Modern Who on Prime, and thankfully, I still have it.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been so upset if 13 plus seasons, because I also like all the specials that I bought over the course of several years, were all just gone. But
Yeah.
thankfully, they're not. I still have it. I think it's just you cannot go buy it if you didn't already have it.
Yeah, in Canada, it was like one of the free shows on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
So it was-
like tied to Prime.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
just
yeah.
you have a Prime subscription, you can watch it, and now it's not there. You might be able to
Okay.
buy it. I don't know. I would have to look into that.
Yeah, that one's a bit different. Like, that style's a bit different because that's like paying to own it and
Yeah.
streaming it. That's not the same thing as like having the subscription and streaming it,
Yeah.
which is what this whole thing's about. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll have to
But-
see how that goes, because it's been a week and they haven't said like what's happening with it. So it's probably just leverage for the next deal. And I'm kind of wondering
Yeah.
if that deal, we're never going to hear about it until after the War Between Lands and Sea happens, just because they might not even be able to talk
Yeah.
about it until after, because technically Disney's deal hasn't expired yet. So it might be
Which
gone
is
for a
frustrating,
while.
but yeah, it might be far longer than we would like it to be.
Yeah. Well, apparently there were some rumblings that War Between Land and Sea is going to be like fall this year, possibly. So it might be closer than we expect.
And maybe within the next 2 months or so. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Starting within the next 2 months or so.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, not quite the same thing as news, but I do also technically have news, because this would be. It's not for like almost 2 weeks, but I guess by the time we're next recording, it'll have been in the past for me.
Yeah.
And by the time this episode comes out fully publicly, it is still in the future at the time. On August, I believe 20th. Let me actually confirm the date right now. So I frequent the Doctor Who restaurant in New York, the Pandorica, which is like the only Doctor Who restaurant on the East Coast, which is like really cool.
Yeah.
Because of the Long Island Doctor Who convention later in the month, Carol Ann Ford, who is attending that convention, is doing an event at the Pandorica on the 20th. So I'm going to get to meet Carol Ann Ford and talk with her about her whole experience of, everything classic Doctor Who and coming back for the modern era. And that's going to be very, very exciting. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really cool But I guess this also leads to if there's anything you want me to like make sure to ask.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, you got like a week and a half to send me something if need be.
Yeah.
But it's just like that's coming up and it's like, damn, that's actually gonna be like so cool. Like I've met the 7th and 8th Doctors at events like this. Never a companion yet though.
Yeah.
And being the first companion, this is like gonna feel very special, I think.
Yeah. I met Matt Smith and Arthur Darvill at Fan Expo in Toronto years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
I got a picture with them. Unfortunately, I don't
Nice.
like how I looked in that picture anymore. So
That's fair. That's fair. That's one of the hard things about taking pictures with celebrities.
yeah, coming out as trans 10 years later. It's like, oh well, it's unfortunate. I think Karen Gillan was supposed to go to that as well, but then she had to cancel, so it was just the two of them.
If it was 10 years ago, that might have had to do with filming schedules
think it was-
and Marvel nonsense.
It was like right after they had left the show, I think. So it would have been like 2014-ish. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, right
Yeah,
after Matt
she-
Smith
yeah,
had left the show is when it was, I think.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, for her that might have had to do. I don't know. Maybe they're doing like reshoots or Guardians or reshoots
Yeah.
of something she was doing
I,
because she was heavily into Marvel stuff at that
I
point.
remember
so.
that Arthur Darvill liked my shirt, and my shirt was like, it was like Toon Link in the TARDIS. It was what my shirt was.
Oh, that's fun.
And Arthur Darvill liked it.
I love that.
The only thing I've done recently is I went to see Back to the Future, the musical, in Toronto, and the TARDIS showed up very briefly in it, funnily enough.
Oh, that's funny.
'Cause
That is pretty funny. That's a fun reference.
there was like a dream sequence with Doc Brown, and then you just see like they had like a projector screen on the background, and the TARDIS just flew by because he was like in a spaceship in his dream
Yeah.
sequence.
That checks out. That's quite funny.
So it's vaguely related to Doctor Who.
But yeah, next time I'll make sure to talk about what the experience meeting Carol Ann Ford was like.
Yep.
But that also brings me to next time in general. So Zori, would you like to go over what we gotta prep for next time?
So next time we will be watching Frontier in Space and Planet of the Daleks, which are both 6-parters. Frontier in Space is unfortunately the last time we will see Roger Delgado's Master. And then, obviously, Planet of the Daleks is the Daleks, and we're going back to Skaro, I think. I assume.
Presumably.
I noticed on
although it'd be really funny if it wasn't Skaro.
I know on Tubi TV, I was just looking at the synopsis, and they said that the Thals are in it, so seemingly Skaro.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
And then, yeah, this is the last time we will see Roger Delgado's Master in Frontier in Space. It wasn't intended as his final story, but that he was in a fatal car accident, so...
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but I hope it's a good story. I hope it's a good end, albeit an unintended one.
Yeah. And then after that, we won't see the Master for a while. I think he has one story in season 14, and then after that he comes back in season 18, and then he becomes a regular at that point. So,
okay,
a long time after this.
Yeah, it takes a while for them to probably figure out how they're going to go about it for him. And
yeah.
When is it respectable to do it?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, alrighty. But of course, before our next episode, whether you are interested in catching these episodes early or maybe even joining us for when we record these live to, tell us Carnival in Space sucked and the Three Doctors is the best multi-doctor story. I don't know. You can support us on Patreon. At our lower tier for just $1 a month, you can get into our Discord where we'll be encouraging discussions between episodes. And at our higher tier, the companion tier, for $5 a month, you can join us live as we record these and talk in our little side chat here. And that could be where you tell us your hot takes on the episodes you watch for the week.
Yep.
But yeah, as a reminder, make sure to watch Frontier in Space and Planet of the Daleks before our next episode. You can find those on the BBC iPlayer or Tubi TV. At least for now. Hopefully that remains the case.
Yeah.
And if you support us on Patreon for just $1 a month, you'll get access to our Discord and early access to these episodes. I have been Tris. You can find me on most socials at ToonTris.
And I've been Joy. You can find me at Joy Content.
And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.